Recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida for 5 minutes. Beforehand, I want to publicly say congratulations on your great news.
Thank you. It's like the best kept secret in Washington. I'm expecting, so yeah, thank you guys.
And I thought it was interesting. How many members of Congress have delivered a baby?
I'll be number 12, so it's 0.1%.
20 in the history of Congress.
12.
12. 12 ladies have delivered babies while in Congress. I think that's a pretty interesting statistic. So congratulations, and you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to start out by saying I think investments made on behalf of the American people by assets managers should serve in the interest of the investor, not woke ideologies being pushed by corporate financial institutions and to entities like the SEC. Honorable Reyes, I actually really liked how you kind of unloaded with some facts, and so if I have time at the end of this, I want to yield to just kind of let you speak on what you think it's important for the American people to know. But if I could just real quickly ask you a few questions. What are the challenges faced by companies in dealing with increasing numbers of shareholder proposals, especially those related to ESG metrics?
Well, they're being forced to themselves choose a path that may not be yielding the best returns to their own investors. They may be forced to make choices that push their own customers away from their own products. I mean, there are a whole host of different problems that this type of pressure can have on a particular company. And then on the other side, there are a lot of problems, as we've already discussed extensively, with investors and the potential loss of capital investments. All of those things are problematic, Congresswoman.
How often are clients informed that their asset managers are prioritizing ESG metrics over their financial return?
No, their asset managers are required to disclose what they're investing in, but I don't think it's readily apparent to most people that their investments are necessarily being invested with an ESG bent, right? So again, transparency laws and requirements would behoove, I think, the whole process, and that's what we're here again to talk about. Not the policy, but the process, how this is being effectuated. Is it being done fairly and in a free market, or is it being done coercively?
I think it's very interesting that obviously there are many things that my colleagues across the aisle and I probably disagree on. Probably agree on some and mostly disagree on most. But I think it's very interesting that in this type of situation that you have people that sometimes blindly trust and really don't know that they might necessarily be investing in something that goes against what their moral principles are or whatever it might be. So
yeah, I don't think most of us even understand the power that we have to vote our shares. The vast majority of Americans are working hard and trying to raise families and not paying attention. So that's part of the problem, and they rely too heavily on proxy services or their asset manager to make those decisions for them. Again, let me make this point, Congresswoman. We've never disputed your own ability to invest whatever assets you have the way that you want to, including an ESG program. But when you're an asset manager investing on behalf of others, it's an entirely and wholly different circumstance, and you have to live up to that fiduciary duty.
So we have about 2 minutes left, and I want to yield the rest of my time to you. What is the most important takeaway for the American people to know from this hearing today?
Well, again, I'd like to point back to the three things that we talked about. One was the DOL rule, but we've already covered that, I think, sufficiently. The second, going back to why the SEC would not exclude a shareholder proposal that violates state laws, again, anti-discrimination laws, and that's something that I hope that the committee will take up and have a hearing on. The SEC could have easily excluded that. They chose not to. And again, this is in the context of proxy groups. It was because of, my contention, the pressure of a proxy service that the shareholders garnered enough votes. They didn't win, but they came a razor's edge of prevailing 47% to literally put their own company in harm's way by violating a number of state laws. So that's one. The other is going back to FERC, and if this committee would look at organizations like NZAM and Climate Action 100, again, $68 trillion or $59 trillion AUM, and view them to see if they are a holding company as we believe they should be construed under FERC. They're acquiring more than $10 million in other utilities. It's problematic because if they are a holding company, then they're violating a number of FERC regulations, including owning more than 20% of a particular utility. They own multiple utilities in excess of 20%. FERC requires asset managers to be passive, and these horizontal organizations are anything but passive. They are bluntly and very self-aggrandizingly clear about what their intent is, and that, we believe, also violates FERC's prohibitions on asset managers being not passive and trying to operate the utilities. So those are the areas, again, that I would like for the committee to be able to take up. Again, appreciate your time. Congratulations to you. I have 6 kids of my own, and this is the best news I heard all day.
Thank you, Chairman. I yield my time.
Gentlelady yields back.